using Pearson? Good. Okay, good. So that's something we can go over. And then do you feel comfortable snipping images on your computer? Okay, that's something that's really quick to learn. It's really time-saving and it's awesome. And do you already use guided math rotations in your classroom? Okay. So then I can really go through these goals quickly, and then if you have additional questions or I didn't spend enough time on something for you, I'm always around, or you can email me. And something I wanted to try was doing screenshot videos for everybody, so if you have a specific question, I can do it quick in a video and you always have it. So these are the goals that we're going to focus on, some a little more than others now that I know where you are. This is the time break down for math workshop rotations in my classroom, because I am lucky enough, fortunate enough, in 4th grade we have 40 days, so there's only 21 lessons, so it's 2 days per lesson. So it works out really nicely. Some units it's not this pretty. So originally we'll start with the mini lesson, then go into 2 rotations. I'll gauge the kids during the rotations. The next day we do a really short warm-up, a lot of math talk time because it's quick, and then 3rd and 4th rotations happen, and exit tickets and assessment. So that's perfect when it works out like that. Otherwise, if you're stuck to one day and you have our standard math time, the one day is shortened to 15 minutes per small group, whole group 15 minutes, and then exit tickets the same. So just shrinking the time, and I carry a timer because it's hard to keep track. So how on earth do we make all this happen and I don't go insane? It's because I use the snipping tool. I'm going to show you how to use and put the snipping tool down on your taskbar. So if you have your devices open, I need you to swipe from this side over, and that'll open the search bar at the top, and please type in snip. When you see snip pop up, right click it and click pin to taskbar. Now if that was too fast, let me know. So you swipe over, there's a search bar, type in snip. No, on your desktop, on your screen.
No, don't hit enter when you search it.
And then it'll be a
Like,
search
just type
bar,
it
type
in.
in snip.
And then don't hit enter, just wait till it comes up. Now right click.
And right click and click pin to taskbar. Anybody having trouble?
This is it. We're almost there. Go ahead.
Okay.
I have trouble with the right click function on my computer.
Use that
Gosh
thing
darn it.
on the right
Took
side
me a
of your,
while to get.
What do I do?
just on the right side of your thing.
Oh, I thought I did.
So, please, Diego.
No, fine. Pin to taskbar. I have snipping tool.
Yep.
That's up.
Right click that thing that says snipping tool. Oh, you're in snipping tool.
Oh.
And you have it right there.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so just leave it open for now.
All right.
I'm pretty sure you know this, but if you didn't, when you're copying an image from the snip, snipping is really taking what you want from the screen. So I take what I want from the screen, like this particular image I took of my bottom taskbar, and to copy it I have to do Control and C at the same time, and then to paste it is Control V if you guys didn't know that. And then it'll paste it onto whatever I want. So right now it pasted it onto a PowerPoint for me, but I can do it into flip charts and things like that. So this is where it comes in handy, is when you do your mini lessons for whole group and you're taking from Envision and you're putting into your flip charts. So before I go any further, I think I'm going to have you snip something from Envision, and then we'll come back to the mini lessons and everything else. So I'm just going to leave this for a second. Don't do anything crazy. All right, so go into your BCPS 1, and when you log in, Pearson is through your digital content if you didn't know that. So you click on your digital content and P for Pearson. So once I click into Pearson, if you haven't seen this yet, this is, these are all the classes. You want Pearson Realize. You want this beautiful little button right here. So when you click it, it'll bring up your dashboard for Pearson Realize. It depends on how many textbooks you've registered for. I did 4th grade and 5th grade, so I have both available to me. This information will become relevant to you once you start assigning things to your students. This is about how many kids have submitted assignments, and you can check on them that way, and how many kids have signed it. Since it's not required by the county, I don't have my kids sign in through this. We do it a different way, so I'll show you that later. So if you click on your textbook, and in your textbook you'll see all the different topics that you've covered so far. So right now my kids are starting topic 9, which Baltimore combined with topic 8. So we're just jumping to the next one. But whenever you're in right now, if you read the description, it'll give you a good idea if you don't know what topic you're in. And you click the topic. And that'll take you within the topic. You have all these different lessons. And there are so many tools. Anybody lost? In Envision that it took me a while to even get the majority that I did down. So I would click on a lesson that sounds like something you're going to teach in the near future. So you're not doing something in the past. You can actually use this later on. So I'm going to say that I'm going to teach this one. Okay, so once you click onto a lesson, it opens up all the resources that are within that lesson. You can look at your textbook here, the teacher's edition, the student edition, and then they have an active ebook, which is just like this textbook. I don't know why they're anything. But moving down the page is where all the fun stuff comes in for you. So this is an explanation as to how to teach the lesson or misconceptions to look for. This PDF, kind of a review for you more than anything else. And then today's challenge is fun. Today's challenge is what I use for Make Sense. So when my kids do Make Sense, all I do is snip the today's challenge. It's going to be different than this one, but I snip the today's challenge around this entire image, and I put it into a Microsoft Word document so that it's there to be printed for my kids when they go to Make Sense. Each day, so this is the factoid, so they give you a little fun facts, but then when you go to the next one, it starts the problem solving. So my kids will have the next page, which is really the next snip that I have. And when they're in Make Sense, they're working in small, fleshy, collaborative groups. So they'll be able to converse about how they would solve, strategies they would use, and then they're writing as a group. So each day is a little bit more based on that factoid. So they're all related to one another. And it's really helpful because there's 7 pages, so that means there's 6 different problems, and that'll cover 6 different days of Make Sense. Or if they work quickly, they can get through a bunch of these and not have an I don't know what to do now moment. So it's really helpful. That's today's challenge. I use it for Make Sense. So you can use it for journal writing, homework, whatever you want.
So once you snip it,
Okay, so jumping at the gun there, April. Okay, so you have snip. I don't have it on this yet, so I'm just going to search for it. Make sure you right-clicked it and you did pin to taskbar, because then it'll always be at this bottom until you delete it from there. Once my snipping tool is open for a new one, everything will turn, I don't know what you know how to fade, faded out. That means you're ready to snip. But whatever's on this screen will get snipped. So if I have another window on top of this, that's getting snipped too. So just be aware of that. So when I take what I want to snip, make sure I cover everything, then I let go, and there's my snip. Now my snip can be saved into my drive. I can do File, Save, but I never do that unless it's something that's really important. All I do is Control-C for copy.
You can also do edit copy if the
You could also do edit copy, yeah. If you don't remember the shortcuts, there's edit copy right there at the top, which they tell you the shortcut. Then you're going to want to paste it. So I'm going to go into my flip chart to whatever page I'm working on, and I'm going to paste it. Or if I'm doing a Microsoft Word document, then I'm going to paste it. And whatever I just snipped is going to show up where I pasted it. If you don't know Control V for paste, then you can right-click the screen and go to paste. Hey!
She had a movement.
Isn't it a great moment?
I'm learning how to right click now,
So kids can do it too, if they're doing research projects. They can snip into their, whatever they're typing up and paste it right in there or save to their own drives. My kids love that stuff.
Shannon, all these problems, are they review of stuff they already know in today's challenge?
Today's challenge is based on previous skills that are getting them ready for this lesson, this topic, this week.
But it's also sometimes multiple steps
Multiple
or
steps.
applying the skills, so
Mhm.
it's not as easy as what you've already done. It's not
No,
just review.
but it's applying
Yeah.
previous learning.
That's what I noticed. It was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Hold on,
more,
this looks relatively basic.
yes.
For your
It
kids.
starts out
Yes.
basic.
I'm looking at the sixth grade book.
And then at the end, usually they have it where they've taken everything they've done throughout the challenge, and then they attack it with multiple steps. So it all depends. Some weeks it's easier than others. It really is based on the topic you're in, because one topic gets one today's challenge. That's something that you have to keep in mind. So, for example, what I'm saying is this today's challenge will be all of topic 9's challenge. So I find myself having to go and search for more make sense type activities, but there's so many provided in here, you just have to read a little bit more and you'll find them. And it depends on the pace of your kids. My kids work like lightning, doesn't mean they're always accurate, so they usually have to go back and I'll make them write more. Okay, so go back. That's today's challenge, and snipping it into whatever you want. You can make it into make sense, you can project it on your board, whatever you need to do. Okay, so let's move down a little bit more. Everybody's lesson should be organized within the same sequential manner. So we just went to today's challenge. The next one you should have is solve and share. If you don't have solve and share, let me know. Anybody not? Let me know if you need me. I'll be right there.
What am I looking for?
Solve and share. Yeah. Right underneath today's challenge. And also okay, so you're gonna click solve and share. Solve and share is really nice for that opening exploration that you want your kids to do. But yours is differently set up. Linda?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just let me know if anyone's lost. So if I click on solve and share, if you have devices, obviously it's beautiful to use with your kids, but we don't. So what I do is I snip it and I put it into my flip chart. Just this problem. Sometimes I retype it, but with the fractions, retyping is annoying. So snip this, put it into my flip chart, and then as small group, they can do collaboration, or they can do their think time challenge where my kids, you have to struggle, you sit there, you work, and then we come together and we share our thinking. So this is really good for exploration. Some people I've heard in other trainings like to use it at the end for assessment. You can put it on poster paper and have your groups around the room, whatever you feel like doing, but it's handy. And they can solve any way they want, so you get all those different strategies to put on an anchor chart afterwards. So that's solve and share. And each lesson has its own solve and share. So you have a new one every day, you teach a different lesson. Okay, so moving on, visual learning is wonderful. So, not really following the PowerPoint, because this is probably more relevant to you than the PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint's there if you want it. Visual learning is wonderful if you're doing flipped, in-class flipped classrooms or out-of-class flipped classroom. So what that means is the teacher pre-records instruction, sends the kids off, they watch the video, they're ready to learn the next day, or ready to work the next day. This is also perfect for reteach, but there's another video down at the bottom that actually reteaches the skill. So you have two options. You have visual learning, which introduces the skill, and then you have the reteach video at the bottom, which is helpful for kids who actually have homework that they have internet access. They get that extra help that they need. So the next one is Convince Me. So when you click on Convince Me, this, I think, is always perfect for journals. So ever since we had Tim's training, I made a math journal workshop for my kids. And now it's not an option. They have to do it during their add a seat time, which is one of the workshops that I have. So add a seat, they have to pick one of their journals. They write the number of the journal at the top. They can take a don't forget to sheet, which is a bunch of reminders how they should structure their responses. So this one, they would write it and then they would explain their thinking, but they can't use any diagrams. They can only use words, numbers, and symbols. These explicitly say that in the directions so that they don't forget, because during park, as we learned from Tim's training, they can't draw. So they can do all their drawing at the top, but when they're typing, they have to use words, numbers, and symbols. So all of their work can go at the top, and they can base their response explaining what they did. They seem to like that, but you never know. They'll get tired of it soon. So that's that. Math journals. Okay. So that's for Convince Me. Some of the time it fits makes sense, but a lot of the time it requires a lot of explanation, so I think it's perfect for journals. So going back, if we scroll underneath Convince Me, there's a practice sheet. In the practice sheet you'll find in their textbook also, but if you click on the practice sheet, this first side and some of the second side are great for independent, like the add a seat time. Some of the other ones on this page are perfect for make sense, when you pull them for small group. What I do is I snip it, so I don't know, we'll do the higher order thinking. I would snip this, bring it into my flip chart, and then I can project my flip chart at small group. So we have a problem to work on, and I don't have to do any extra work. It's already there for me. And I personally feel each group should work on the same problems, and they just get what they need depending on how far along they are, with the exception of the advanced 4 group. Because they're going to see the same questions on the test. Anyway, so if I snip this, so if I snip the high order thinking, and I want to paste it into my flip chart for my small group kids, oh, that's too tight. Usually with my device I can zoom in and make it huge on the screen and then snip that big image, because now it's going to be pretty pixelated. But a trick that I learned is if you zoom in on the page, so up here I'll zoom. And look at it this way, then when I stretch it out, it won't be as pixelated. Or some people retype it. So I just leave it like that, I project it at small group, and whatever group I have, I can refer to whichever problem I want on my flip chart. So, let's go back. Anyone have any questions? Is this too easy? Should I move on to something else? Please tell me.
I think you're doing fine.
Be honest. I don't want to waste anyone's time, so just let me know if you'd rather see something different. Alright, moving on. So here's the Assess and Differentiate tab. Within this you have Quick Check, which I think is flipping awesome. So if you go into Quick Check and click it, your kids can receive this, and immediately you'll know who knows what, where they are, and how to group them. But if my kids don't have devices, so I have to find different ways to go about doing it. So, what time are we supposed to stop?
40 minutes. Then yeah.
What time are we doing?
20 more minutes.
5 o'clock.
You mean 15 minutes?
From
But
the,
I meant
total.
40 minutes.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have 40 more minutes of this. Okay. So, what I've been doing is I will snip this because I don't have access to technology and most of us don't, and I'll put it in my flip chart. And my kids have clicker cards inside their math journals. So, hungry.
Pick the wrong kid.
Wrong person I should have picked. But they have their clicker cards glued in the back of their journals so they can hold up what their answer is. I do my little clicker thing. You guys know about clickers? Okay. So I do my little clicker thing. It groups everybody for me. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I hand them each their shape. So what I mean by that is I'll assess them quickly and then they get split up because we want secrecy now. Everybody gets their own shape and I slip it to them like I'm a drug dealer. And then they go into their groups where they start off.
Remember, you're getting videos.
I'm sorry, like a professional
We can edit that out.
of some sort. And they go to their first rotation. And at the end of the first day, they know where they're going to start the next day. And since I have 2 days of rotations, I only hand out shapes every 2 days. But still, if anyone knows of a much quicker, more efficient way to do so, please let me know, because that's as fast as I can do it, and it still takes 5-10 minutes. So, this is perfect for a quick check. Maybe throughout, if you're doing a whole group the whole time, you find something that's really tough to teach. There's 3 of these most of the time. This one has 4. It can read it to them, which is nice. And sometimes it has multiple choices instead of just one correct answer. So they have diagrams for them. You can snip this, put it right into your flip chart so you don't have to make these resources, but it's there projected when you're doing your quick checks for them, so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. We will now look at, okay, here's the reteach worksheet. I know Nicole assigns this for homework sometimes, and it seems to really help them because it breaks it down and it gives them an explanation at the top. So I think that's perfect. And then there's the answer key underneath. Some lessons. Now you're not going to find this in every lesson. This section is going to be different in each lesson. Sometimes you'll see center games. Sometimes you'll see reading activities or math science activities. The reading activities is you're reading a passage, but then you're completing it with a math task. Math and science, there's a little math and science tied in with bar graphs, charts, and whatnot, and then they're completing a math task related to what they just learned. So with the center games, this is a whole different ballgame because when you click on center games, these are now for them to do with each other in workshops, and it's really helpful. All you usually need are dice and paper clips. And because we don't have those little number tiles, I just use number cards. So it's an easy switch out. It gives them the directions there. Usually I'll introduce it very quickly before they break away for group. And there's one side that's on level, and then there's another side that's a challenge level. And it's done for you. All you have to do is print it. I put it inside. Oh, this one got squished. I put it inside of these, so I print it back to back, and it's in here, and they can choose whatever side they want to do. That's
The
a workshop.
advanced ones, I think some of those are hard.
Some of the, yeah, and the advanced kids try those first, and they go, oh wait, I'll just try the other side first. So, they are hard, and I like to play them first, and sometimes I have to give it a second thought, so it's really helpful. It's made for you, you don't have to go search on Pinterest, there it is.
They just get a little repetitive sometimes.
They do.
Because they only have, I think, is it 3 or 4 basic games.
And then it's usually, they know they have to either get paper clips or dice or cards, so it's not a lot of variety, but it is nice because they don't do it every day. When you're within the topic, you might see clip and cover twice within a topic, so they're not bombarding the kids with the same exact workshops every time. digital tools, math activity. This would be great if you had devices with you all the time. You can tell the kids on how to use the tools appropriately. It might be helpful for Park since I know they have access to some tools for Park. And at
The center games, is that like on every lesson?
No, it appears a few times within each topic. So right now it's in this lesson, but you might not see it again, or a version of it, using the particular skill they're learning for 4 or 5 lessons. They mix it in with the reading activities and the math science activities. So whatever you see in this section, that's meant for workshop type work. Then, this is another look that I was talking about earlier. This is where it reteaches the students about the skill, but it really breaks it down for them. It's helpful for my kids who struggle, and then I have the ones who really are accelerated, so to help those kids after I worked with them in small group, they at least have that to go home to if they have access to the internet. And then this is the homework and practice page, which is also within their textbook. So it's just taking it and putting it there for you. One nice thing, if I click on it and I go into the homework practice book, it sets it up like they would see on a computer-based assessment. So if they have access to the internet at home, you can give them the option to complete the pages at home, something extra on the internet.
The one issue that I've had with Pearson, like this online thing, is that, like, I had one student who lost his math book, so I usually print his homework. And you can't access, like, a PDF of these homework pages unless you go through the student, like, the active book. Remember at the very
You
beginning?
have to go all the way to the top. click
Yeah,
in here.
the e-text. Or is it the active book or the e-text?
It's either one.
So you have to go through that way to get their
Yeah.
homework because they don't have, like, a separate PDF like they do the
Exactly.
practice.
So you can go through the whole lesson this way. I usually snip from here because I can go through how Envision wanted the lesson to go and then take from what they give me here. Some nice things when you're looking at homework, is the homework gives them step by step and gives them a few problems. But then if I were to go to the next page, I usually steal problems from here to put in my small group work or for a problem for the day 2 of my math lesson. So usually the higher order thinking ones, or one that really requires multi-steps to break it down, I'll snip it and I'll put it in there. And I'll tell them not to do it for homework. Anybody have questions? Okay. So now I went through one lesson. I'm going to jump back into the PowerPoint. And I went through each of these, just going through the actual site, but I do want to tell you that I put this on the shared drive, so I have links throughout if you'd like to take a look at in-class flip. I put a video there for you. Another video, but I don't want to play it. Okay. So the responsive groupings aspect, obviously if we don't have devices, it's harder for us, but I mean, I've just been walking around with my little pad and writing down who needs what. I know everyone's got their system now. I'm preaching to the choir, so. When you group the kids, if anyone has more efficient strategies, please tell me because that's my hardest part of my day, is grouping them. I can put all this up here, but you know that it's always messy, no matter how you try to group your kids. So that's my example of grouping. So this is the system for workshops. Now, I'm sure y'all have different systems in your classroom, so I'm only going to go through this really quickly because we have 10 minutes, so it'll be nice. This is how I do it in my room. However, if you don't have access to technology every day, you can make hands-on something with Manipulative, especially if you have a lower group. Hands-on is really supposed to be hands-on, and this is supposed to be teacher time, but I just changed it up because we have technology. Well, limited technology. So these are the workshop rotations. When my kids, I say, all right, let's go, and they go. This is what's up on the board for them, so they know exactly where to go and what's expected of them. When they go to make sense, they know they have to do a math journal today. Stinks, but you have to do it. Then add a seat, they have to do their textbook pages, and technology, Dreambox or Pearson, I tell them what lesson we were on, and hands-on is usually with me. When they're finished, because I've got a lot of kids who finish quickly. I have workshops on the left side here that have to do with skills that we've learned. And I'm measuring with recipes and stuff. And then different bin for my advanced 4 kids and fact practice drawers here. And then I have the problem of the week, which is just a problem that I took from the test, but I reworded it and different numbers. So they can take a sheet, go work on it, and then they slip their answers in here. I took that from Nicole. Credit to Nicole Gentry. Okay. So then that's making sense like I talked about. I told you what to look for, so if you forget what we said, whatever is in bold is what you look for in the different tabs that pop up.
Shannon, where in the rotations do you do like the games and the stuff they give you? Is that when they're done or is
So, good question. So usually when they're finished, each rotation that I have, since I have a luxury, is 20 minutes. And each different one, except for small group with me, is about 10-15 minutes. So when they go to technology, they really do 1 or 2 lessons in Dreambox, and then I don't want to do it anymore, so they come and they grab a workshop bin and they find buddies to do it with. Other times, if I'm introducing something new, like a brand new game, that day I will put it into hands-on instead of me, and then I'll rotate around and watch. So it all depends on what's on the agenda for the day. Like, who would have thought that they liked organizing fractions? They pick that every day. And I spend time making these laminated games, and they want to organize fractions. And these are different resources for making sense that I found helpful and useful. So I put those up there. If you go into the shared drive, you can access them quickly. How to see. The new thing that I'm doing is math journals. They're still learning on how to construct viable arguments, but it's helpful. So it's really small, but this is one of the math and science activities, and then that one's a reading one. That came from Envision. And then when Megan shared Achieve the Core, I actually took the time this weekend to check it out, and there's task cards on there. So all you have to do is snip the task card and put it in, and you can have them work on it during their math journal time. It's pretty easy. All there for you. I'll wrap it up so that we can go. This is all really what I showed you. Oh, I didn't show you how to do the. Did you guys watch the video on how to assign centers to tiles? Okay, I'm going to show you that really quickly. So, when I am here in Pearson, and I see at the top it says centers, so if I click centers, it'll take me to my 2 textbooks. So I kind of have to re-enter all over again. But once I go into my topic, and the lesson that I want to do the centers on, say I really liked them to do 9-4, and I want them to have a tile of it. So if I click it, there's this little button up here that says Launch Student Center with a lightning bolt. That means the Student Center will contain every one of these aspects. Did I go too fast? I'll go back.
Oh, you're fine, Ken. I think we're good.
Alright, Ben?
Everybody else
Yeah.
good?
Oh, you're giving me a
It's just my face.
slow down, lady. Look.
No,
So
I'm good. I'm there.
when I click Launch Student Center, I get to pick a snazzy little background. I like the rocket ship a lot. So I'm going to launch the center. And that means all of those links are now on a little cute clip-arted page. Okay. So if I wind up clicking on things, it'll tell me what it is, and then I can start it. So my kids can watch a video, they can play a game whenever they want. The way to get this on tiles is you're going to highlight the actual link at the top of your bar, copy it, so Control-C again, and then I have to go into my lesson tiles, which I totally did not set up here, so move everything to. So when I go in, my learning management, we've all seen this before, you go into mathematics, make sure it's the right class, I've done this before, and you go into lessons, you can attach it, so I want them to do it tomorrow, I click on Add Activities, just like adding any other tile, but this time I'm going to choose a link so that I can just paste the link from the centers. And there it is. What I think is best for the kids from learning from them, if you title it what actual lesson you're doing, so if they had trouble with that lesson or that topic, they can go back and play the same centers. So I took, I don't even know, I took that from 9-4, I took that from 9-4. That's all I do, they know to click it. If they want to watch videos at home and they're having trouble with Pearson, they can go ahead and just click this tile and access it that way. So when I click the tile, watch, doesn't work out. When I click the tile, okay, good. I can go and do whatever I wanted to do. If I wanted to watch the video again, I'll start the video. So whatever was available that day will be on your center screen. Anybody have questions? Anybody totally overwhelmed?
Can you start from the beginning?
Alright. Okay, well, if you do have any questions, the PowerPoint has a ton more information that I probably didn't get to. I have videos here, so feel free. Your kids love to be videotaped.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
With the PowerPoint on the shared drive?
Yes. Oh, let me show you where that is. So, if I went into the shared drive and I go into map, I thought that's the only one that seemed relevant. So I put it into map. It's right here. And then I put some things in Math Workshop, like the rotation cards that I use, the math journals, don't forget reminder sheet. I didn't make it a PDF, so if you want the pretty font, just let me know, I'll PDF it for you. And that's it. Thank you.